Jabari, congratulations.
Thank you.
We have several questions in the queue. The first comes from Carter Hill of Fifth Quarter. Carter, your line is unmuted. You can ask your question.
Hey, Jabari, congrats on the win. Do you think you guys made a statement today, kind of laying it to the Big East champ? And what do you think you showed fans that may not have, or what do you think you proved to fans that may not have been able to watch you all season long?
Well, it was crazy coming into this game. We were like the underdog, even being the 5 seed. Everybody had us losing this game. So we met, I think it was yesterday as a team, and it was like, it's really no pressure. Just come in this game, we're the underdog. Nobody has us winning. So anything we do from now on, nobody expected it. So just going in with that underdog mindset, trying to prove everybody wrong. And really, we wear the warm-up shirt. It's just us. It's us versus everybody. So just this group.
Our next question comes from Pat Rooney. Pat, your line is open. You can ask your question.
Hey, Don. Hey, Jabari. Is this as good all around as you guys have played for 40 minutes this season?
Can you repeat your question?
Hold on just a second. Pat, is your line open?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, please?
Me now?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Jabari, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Just wondering if this is as good a 40-minute performance as you guys have put together this season.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely up there. Later on in the season, our shots weren't really falling like they were tonight, and we said eventually they would fall, so just keep trusting the process. And tonight, we had several guys get hot, so definitely one of our best shooting performances. Defensively, we all locked in, and the motto today was just going in and playing happy. This is some of the seniors. This is their first appearance here, and so I'm blessed to be here. And I just want to enjoy this moment because you never know when you're gonna be back. So they said just come out, smile, have fun while playing the game. One of the things we did in the Pac-12 championship, we were too tense. We had too much pressure on our shoulders. So just let all that go. Just our brothers, just lock in and just play free.
Our next question comes from Pat Graham from the AP. Pat, your line is open.
Hey, Jabari, thanks for taking the time. I guess a lot of people were saying maybe you guys might lose this game because of the Georgetown mystique. I guess, how did you guys keep that out of your minds? And I guess maybe how much did you know about Patrick Ewing, and how nice was it to beat Georgetown?
It was really good, especially with them winning their championship in their conference. Everybody thought they were hot, they were on a roll, and they had us losing this game. But really, we just focused on our group, focused on what we can control, and like all our guys believe, if we're playing at the best, our best basketball, then not too many teams in this country could beat us. We could guard. We have the most versatile guys. We can guard pretty much every position. We can score in so many different ways. It's just we're a dangerous team, and a lot of teams can't run with us. And there's just so many skill sets that we have, and the seniors, they just lead us. So just with all that, it is really hard to beat us, I believe.
Our next question comes from Justin Michael Guerrero, and your line is open.
Jabari, you guys were so good from 3 tonight, and strangely enough, it really didn't seem like Georgetown was getting a lot of hands in your faces, especially early on, or contesting shots. I don't want to go as far to say as they were daring you to shoot the long ball, but it didn't really look like, especially with how good you guys were from deep, that they were doing much about it. What were you seeing defensively from them, and was there kind of lack of pressure? Was that at all encouraging, and you guys really wanting to get up those three-pointers?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. I noticed it when I first caught the ball. He was kind of far. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait it out. Let's see how he continues to guard it. And then we ran a couple plays that came to me, and I just found myself getting wide open. And I thought surely after the first few that they would get a hand up, and then I just kept finding myself open, and I was a little confused. Maybe that was part of the scouting report, or I don't know what was going on, but I got open shots, and just like I continue to say, it's my job to knock them down, and I've been able to do a good job at that.
Next question is from Mark Kisla. Mark, your line is open.
Hey, Jabari. When you and everybody else on the team, including Dallas Walton, are channeling their inner Steph Curry, do you get a look in each other's eyes like it's going in? Or what the heck was happening in the first half? You shoot 65% from three, you're going to beat a lot of teams.
Yeah, maybe it's contagious. I think I started it off. Deshaun kept it going, and then Dallas. Next thing you know, Dallas was up hitting threes. I would have liked Jariah to get hot. That would have just made it even more fun. They haven't seen Jariah get hot yet, and they don't want to see Jariah get hot. But if that would have happened tonight, you would have seen more threes going to basket.
Our next question is from Stefan from the Indianapolis Star. Your line is open.
Jabari, you mentioned the senior leadership there a little bit. I know McKinley ends up with 13 assists. Obviously, fans chanting MVP after the game. I mean, just how much does he bring to this offense and to the team from a leadership perspective?
Can you repeat that question one more time, please?
Just ask about McKinley and what he brings to this offense, as well as the leadership standpoint as well.
Yeah, there's so much that I don't even realize yet playing with him. I'll probably see it next year, but just having him initiate the offense, it just makes my job easy. I really don't have to do too much. He just finds me when I'm open. When he shoots the ball, you don't realize how many people are going after to block his shot. So that helps me get my offensive rebounds. Just keeping us in the right mentality, keeping us composed. He's been in like so many situations, and his experience has carried this team. So it's just a blessing to have somebody like Ken and somebody like all these seniors that we have on this team, especially with it being my first year playing college basketball.
Our next question comes from Ron Bailey. Ron, your line is open.
Thanks, Ron Bailey, HoyasReport.com, part of the Rivals Network. When you saw them kind of soft drop the big man and pick and roll, and it really opened up the pick and pop as well as the deep corners through ball movement, I mean, did you kind of like lick your chops a little bit? Because it seemed like that defensive scheme played into what you guys wanted to do. You were getting wide open shots.
Well, originally the plan was for me to just start rolling. And I think my first three came in just like a motion set and just me getting open. So when we seen that they were kind of focusing on Ken and a little bit too much, then we started to run a couple plays that had me getting open for three, and we just attacked that part of their defense. So it wasn't really designed for me to just come off and start shooting threes like that tonight, but we just took what the defense gave us and just kept going from there.
The next question is from Kevin McCaskill. Kevin, your line is now open.
Hi, this is Kevin McCaskill Jr. from FP Sports, Springfield, Massachusetts. You shot 90% from the field today, man. How did you feel before the game?
I felt happy. Just listening to my music, just happy with the guys, dancing before the game, getting back to what we usually do. And this last game against Oregon State, I felt like we were a little tense, and all the guys know that. So, like I said, just relieving that pressure and remembering it's just basketball, and we're supposed to have fun while we're here. It's not supposed to be stressful. And everybody had us losing this game, so we just play with a chip on our shoulder, and we played free. So I got back to my normal routine, having fun before the game, laughing with my guys, and just being relaxed.
Our last question comes from John Teetle. And John, your line is now open.
Hey, Jabari, John Teitel from hoopsht.com. Your father played 4 tournament games back when he was at Louisville and averaged about 13 points a game. My question's for you. What has he told you or taught you about what it takes to win games in March? And how does it feel to know that you're now averaging 24 points a game? You're ahead of him right now.
It feels good. We didn't really talk about March Madness or anything like that, to be honest. He just told me that it was a big platform. We really have not to come out here with any pressure, just do what I'm supposed to do, just play the game that I play. Nothing special. Just do the little things like I always do, and eventually everything will work itself out. So it wasn't too much. He called me. He said, "I'm not going to fill your ear with nothing, but just tell you to just play your game and play stress-free," and that's what I went out there and did.
Jabari, congratulations and best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
We'll be joined by Coach Boyle shortly. Again, if you could use the raise hand function. Coach, congratulations. We've got a few questions in the queue, but if you could go ahead and give us some opening comments.
Yeah, the first thing I would like to say is that I've got great respect for Patrick Ewing and Georgetown University and their basketball program. It's kind of ironic that when we got here last Sunday morning at like 2 in the morning and you walked into the team room, one of the gifts for the players and everybody in your travel party was a book, autobiography from John Thompson, who obviously was a coach at Georgetown, recruited Patrick. I read about the first 2 chapters. I've been busy with film and stuff, but it's a great read. It's a book that I've really encouraged our players to read, certainly this spring or maybe this summer. Maybe some of them have dug into it already, but again, what Georgetown University represents and the basketball tradition that they have, and really the man that John Thompson was. I think it's important that we recognize that, acknowledge it, and I would encourage anybody listening to get a copy of that book and read it because, again, he was a special man, and I know he changed a lot of lives. Patrick Ewing's was one of them, and Patrick admits that. So I just want to tip my hat to Georgetown.
Great. Our first question is from Mark Kisla. Mark, your line is now open.
2 questions, 2-parter. Number 1, this is a first tournament victory for you in a while, and you and I both had a little more hair back then. So what's it mean to you? And second, the players have talked about getting into their music and being happy before this game. Do you have music, or do you listen to music or not?
No, I do it on my walks, Mark, especially here in Indianapolis through the convention center. I just got AirPods, for the first time in my life. I think that was a Christmas gift from my wife. So I don't listen to it before games. I'm really kind of locked into, what our game plan is, what plays I'm going to run for who, at what times, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, our players, look, we have been a resilient team all year long. Last Saturday night when we played for the Pac-12 championship, we were not ourselves. The guys were, again, a little tense, and I think they were too worried about the end game versus just enjoying the moment and letting it all hang loose. And we talked about that this week, and our players talked about it amongst themselves and in our team meeting that we had on Tuesday or Wednesday. It was on Tuesday, I believe. So tonight was a totally different kind of mentality, and we got to keep that. We got to keep being loose, but understanding the game plan and enjoying the moment and not, hey, let it all hang out, pin your ears back, and let's go have some fun. And when adversity hits, let's fight through it together. So this team's been doing it after losses all year long. So I don't know why this should be any different.
Our next question comes from Pat Rooney. Pat, your line is now open.
Coach, if you guys play defense like this going forward, do you like your chances with whatever comes next?
Yeah, when we guard, Pat, we're really, really good. Now, we didn't guard very well in the second half. They scored 50 points, and we got to do a better job of guarding without fouling. We put Georgetown on the foul line too much tonight, and so we got to get our hands back and move our feet a little bit better. But yeah, defense and rebounding. Now, we got out rebounded by 1 tonight, which I wasn't happy with. But, when you make shots like we made tonight, it makes up for so many things. And that's what we have to really understand as a group is that, on Monday, whoever we play, if we're not making shots, we better be guarding better than we did in the second half. In the first half, we did a really good job of it. But defense and rebounding keeps you in every game. And then on nights like this, when you're making shots like we made, it's it's going to be a little bit easier. So, but through this tournament, there'll be some droughts, and again, depending on who we play, we got to dial into that game plan.
Our next question comes from Justin Guerrero. Justin, your line is now open.
Tad, strictly in terms of points in the paint, you guys were +8 tonight. And I mean, I know you could assume they were going to attack the low post, but just with respect to that part of the defensive game plan, how pleased were you with the execution of that and just stopping their big guys down low?
Very much so. I'm not sure we stopped him. I mean, Wahab had 20. He's a good player. They do a good job in their ball screens looking for him rolling. He rolls and catches and finishes as well as any big we've played against all year long. So, but the fact that we beat them in paint points and he still got 20 is a testament to our guys offensively, because we wanted our threes to come as a result of our paint touches and attacking the rim, whether it was in transition, whether it was in the half court, and our guys did a good job of that. And when we're attacking the rim and finishing at the rim like we did tonight, and we're kicking out for threes and making threes, we're a really, really hard team to guard. And I mean, think about as good as we were offensively tonight, and Jariah Horn really wasn't a big part of that. And we know how good of a shooter Jariah is and how he stretches the defense. Obviously, Jabari was feeling it tonight. Deshaun made some big threes. Eli made a couple of them, but we're going to get Jariah going, and hopefully we'll be even harder to guard. So, but we always want to play inside out. The threes come as a result of paint touches, either by our bigs or by our guards penetrating.
Our next question comes from Neil Wolk. Neil, your line is now open.
Hey, Tad, is that as good a 40 minutes as you guys can play?
Offensively, Neil, I think it's pretty close to it. I mean, we had 12 assists. I thought we got a little careless there at the end. We didn't handle their press as well as I would have liked to, because I think, if we would have been a little bit more aggressive, we could have got something on the other end of it. But on the offensive end, yeah, it's as good as we can play. Again, defensively, we can do a better job of not fouling, and we can't give up 50 points in the second half. So, but you score 90-some points, and you shoot the way we shot tonight. I mean, it makes up for a lot. So great first game. Kind of got the jitters out. Our guys were, amped up before the game. There's no doubt about that. But and then we we lost our poise a couple of times in that second half, but we regained it. And credit to our seniors and our players for playing with poise, because we talked about that in the second half, Neil. Play with confidence, play with poise, and play with aggressiveness. And I thought we did that for the most part for 40 minutes.
Our next question comes from Ron Bailey. Ron, your line is open.
Oh, thank you. Ron Bailey, HoyasReport.com. Talk about the implications of their kind of like dropping the big man halfway down the lane on pick and roll. It seemed to really open up your pick and pop and your perimeter ball movement action. Talk about that.
It did, yes. And I mentioned on our radio here with Mark Johnson, Wahab at the 5 gives us problems in terms of his ability to roll and score in the paint, because he's a really good low post scorer, and their screen and roll game's pretty darn good. On the other end of the floor with Wahab, sometimes he shows, or tonight he was plugging. We felt like we had the advantage on that in terms of pick and popping. And, we had a couple sets that we were ready to run to pick and pop with our 5-man, which we normally don't do. But because of his plugging and kind of being in the lane there, we wanted to stretch the defense with our 5. And, Dallas made a 3, which he's capable of doing. But we also got Jabari, in some pick and pop, especially after he made the first one, out of the motion set. And then, once Jabari makes one, he's kind of a rhythm shooter. And we ran a couple pick and pop, plays for him, because when he was in with Jariah, Wahab was guarding Jabari. And that's a really, really hard lineup. When you have a pick and pop 5-man and they've got a big guy like Wahab, it makes it really, really difficult for them, especially when our 5s are shooting like they can and they did tonight. So we tried to expose that as best we could, and I think our guys did a good job of it.
We have time for 2 more questions, I believe. The next is from Christian Peck-Dimmitt. Your line is now open, Christian.
Hey, Coach. Christian Peck-Dimmitt, Tunnel Vision Sports. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
McKinley Wright had 12 and 5 and then 13 assists. He out-assisted Georgetown by himself. How important was he in his ball movement for the win?
Huge, because you could tell Georgetown's, defensive game plan, or at least part of it, was to, when McKinley came off ball screens, to really make him play in a crowd and not let him score the ball. When that's happened before at times this year, McKinley's gotten frustrated. Tonight he didn't. He just took what the defense gave him. Our bigs did a great job of rolling or popping, depending on the case. But McKinley did a terrific job of just being patient. They're in the second half. Evans set a high ball screen for him and rolled, and McKinley just kept the ball, engaged the big, and then boom, hits Evan with a pocket pass for a wide open layup. Because again, we were shooting the ball so well, they were sticking with our shooters on the tags. And McKinley just played a really, really heady game from a ball screen read standpoint. It's as good as he's done all year long with his reads in the ball screen consistently. And he didn't get frustrated, with his lack of scoring. And because we want McKinley to be a scoring point guard. That's what he is. But you got to take what the defense gives you. And our guys did a really, really good job of that tonight. And our ball, 27 assists on 34 baskets means you're moving the ball. And it means you're making some shots.
Our last question comes from Jake Shapiro. Jake, your line is now open.
Hey, Tad, so much is made of upperclassmen guard play this time of year. Between McKinley always wanting to get onto this stage and the way he played tonight, and then what Eli Parquet did today, what did you see out of your guards?
Well, they played terrific basketball. And, those two guys combined defensively are so underrated because people look at their, size and maybe, lack of length. But Eli Parquet is as good of an athlete, as we have on our team. And McKinley is just he's an all Pac-12 level defender. I mean, he's one of the top 5 defensive players in our league. And I know Eli got that award this year, but, McKinley as a sophomore and a junior was first team all-league on defense. So we know those two can really guard. Eli's really done a good job of playing his role and taking open shots and making open shots for us. He did that again tonight. He doesn't force things. Those two guys, we got a lot of confidence in those two guys in the backcourt. And they're going to need to play well as this thing advances because you're exactly right. Guard play means a lot this time of year in this tournament.
Coach, thanks so much for your time and congratulations and best of luck.
Okay, thank you so much.
Just a reminder for our attendees that a replay of the transcript, a transcript of the coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with a recording of the press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.com.